Welcome to this edition of the show. You may have heard the saying that data is the new gold. Yes, that is correct. But the big question is, how can you leverage data to make better business decisions in 2022? My guest on the show is a data analytics professional, and he has some insights to share. So look out for that on the interview, which is coming up shortly. We've got these and more lined up on today's show. This is Tech Trends, and I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.
To create a more diverse and inclusive tech world, we need to inspire and empower the next generation of female role models to pursue and develop their careers in technology and become innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
This Africa Drone Soccer Challenge is the first in Nigeria and the continent organized by the United States Consulate in Lagos.
Arm your drones in 3, 2, 1, go!
Seventy-one student teams from high schools across Lagos Education District 1 submitted video applications for the program, but only 8 were chosen to compete in the tournament. The aim of the competition is to introduce drone sports in Nigeria, starting with underserved communities of Agege, Alimosho, and Ifako-Ijaye.
And really what we focus on is bringing STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math into the classroom. And not only that, but training teachers how to bring that. We gave lesson plans to the teachers. We gave them a bit of a drone, a small drone, to really show to their students how they can program a drone. We did also training for students in many different technology fields: solar cells, cell phone repair, weather balloons. And now we've had this drone soccer competition, really to show that you can bring science, technology, engineering, and math into the classroom, and you don't need a $150,000 science lab. You don't need these very expensive types of equipment. You can do it simply, and that really does ignite enthusiasm. It really does ignite interest. And we really hope that that goes not only to the boys, but especially the girls, because girls can also do science, technology, engineering, and math. Girls can lead tech firms. And indeed, this is the future of Nigeria. We trained teachers from every school practically in District 1. There were students from every school. 72 teams applied to be part of this competition, and we had to choose 8. It's a very difficult choice, but we got it down to 8, and all of these teams are captained by girls. Of course, boys are competing as well, but they're captained by girls right here. All these girls here. And so we're really, really proud of that, because I think it's shown that anyone can do science, technology, engineering, and math, and we really ignited that enthusiasm.
The soccer game was held in partnership with the Global Air Drone Academy and Steam Up Lagos Drone Training Initiative, which is part of the state's strategy to promote science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Go. Go for 6 seconds. Go for 10 seconds. Go for 15 seconds. 8. Around the place for 3 seconds.
The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Education says programs like these will help prepare students for the future of work.
We started a lot of programs, a lot of initiatives between 2020, but of course, due to the pandemic, a lot of them were really pushed and driven last year. And part of that led to this partnership between Lagos State and the U.S. Consulate in making sure that the best practices in STEAM education in the U.S. were carried here to Lagos State. We are hoping that as we start this by the second or third quarter, we will continue this building up of these skills, problem solving, critical thinking, collaboration, as well as creative thinking for our students, which are skills that they need for the future of work. And we're really excited because cell phone repair was one of the things that we emphasized. You know, a lot of us, we use and engage with our phones. And then, of course, the drone applications, which culminated in this drone soccer competition, which is the first of its kind in Africa, as you all know. And then weather balloon and then solar cell assembly for the students. So it's been really fantastic.
We're using the exciting appeal of drone technology to learn and introduce them to engineering, introduce them to mathematical concepts, physics. These are all skills that they learn by putting these drones together, programming them and flying them. So we're here for the first ever drone soccer competition in Africa. The students have spent 8 weeks, all right, and there's actually 8 teams as well, predominantly female-led teams, and they have been practicing and putting their drones together and building them and crashing them and building them again. So it's really exciting to see them grasp this technology, and the sky is really the limit for them.
All 8 teams were girl-led, and the students are excited to be among the pioneer beneficiaries of this initiative.
This is the first drone soccer game in Africa, so I'm really opportune to be one of the participants of today's event. And we have been training for 9 weeks. I think that is enough time for us to learn and to know a lot about drone soccer and how to play it. And this is an opportunity for me to survive in the world, because everything is about technology. It helps us, everybody that participated, to know more about technology, how to use it, and to help us. Eventually, we will need this, what we have learned in this place today.
I feel really great, it's fun. Even when I heard about it, I was like, I want to touch it, I want to touch it, I want to see it, I want to feel it in my hands. I've always seen it in film, so out of 78 schools we are among, we felt really happy about it.
It is amazing because it allows us to get a lighting on the positive use of technology. So the impact it has made in my life, it allowed me to think critically how to use this drone technology to solve real life problems, especially in the military aspect. And also I want to be an OBGYN, which means obstetrician and gynecologist. So I could actually use this initiative of drone to help in collation of data and making a device related to the drone structure.
This is a great privilege whereby other students are looking for this, but I just thank the Lagos State government and the US Consulate for bringing this opportunity down to us. I learned quite a lot of things here because I got to know how advanced technology has been. I now have a wider range of knowledge about how technology and science is now used around the whole world. Now, when I grow up, I look forward to become an agricultural engineer. So now I can use this to supervise my farmland without the aid of too many workers. So now I know with this drone technology, I can be able to do better, and I can even go out there to teach my friends and the people around me how to use this to help themselves and their family.
At the end of the challenge, Ijaye Housing Senior Grammar School emerged the champion, beating Elimosho Senior Grammar School and Abeson Senior High School to the second and third positions respectively. A STEM laboratory will be awarded to the top 3, while the overall winner will represent the nation at the global stage in the US. Three patients whose lower bodies were left completely paralyzed after spinal cord injuries were able to walk, cycle and swim using a nerve stimulation device controlled by a touchscreen tablet. Researchers report that the patient's injuries to a region called the thoracic spine, below the neck and above the lowest part of the back, were sustained 1 to 9 years before receiving the treatment. They were able to take their first steps within an hour after neurosurgeons first implanted prototypes of a nerve stimulation device remotely controlled by artificial intelligence software. Over the next 6 months, the patients regained the ability to engage in the more advanced activities in community settings outside of the clinic by controlling the nerve stimulation devices themselves using a touchscreen tablet. Grégoire Courtine, the Jocelyn Bloch of the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Lausanne, led the study and helped establish a Netherlands-based technology company called Onward Medical that is working to commercialize the system. There is no existing treatment to enable the spinal cord to heal itself, but researchers have pursued ways to help paralyzed people regain mobility through technology.
In this study, we describe purpose-built technology, meaning new electrode array with electrode precisely positioned in order to activate the entire region of the spinal cord involved in the control of trunk and leg movement. So a much more precise technology, which allowed us to target individuals with the most severe form of spinal cord injury. Clinically complete spinal cord injury, no sensation, no movement, and yet with this technology, they've been able to take independent steps outside the laboratory.
In a healthy person, there is a message from the brain going through the spinal cord and then activating the pool of motor neurons that are activating certain muscles. And it's something we don't even think about it. It comes automatically and we can talk and do other things while walking. So it's a bit, we need to relearn it when we do it with the stimulation. It's not that natural, but it becomes more and more natural the more you train.
Courtine and Bloch and their team designed the devices so that electrical signals would enter the spine from the sides instead of the back. This approach allows very specific targeting and activation of spinal cord regions. Then they devised artificial intelligence algorithms that instruct electrodes on the device to emit signals to stimulate in the proper sequence the individual nerves that control trunk and leg muscles needed for various activities such as getting up from a chair, sitting down and walking. Courtine says the software is tailored to each patient's anatomy.
At the very beginning, it's not super easy. They still need weight bearing and they need to understand what's going on, but they can activate immediately their legs and step. And the more they train, the more they start building muscles and the more fluid it becomes and they understand what they have to do and they learn to walk with this technology. It's immediate, the movement is immediate, but you need to understand how it goes to be better and better. And your body is also getting used to it.
The researchers noted that while the patients regained the ability to perform various activities, including controlling their trunk muscles for extended periods, they did not regain natural movement.
Coming up is my chat with Temiloluwa Shobawale, co-founder Insightly. Stay with us.
Data is king in today's world, regardless of what industry you're in, and many economists believe it is a driver for growth and change. With the numerous social media platforms and network sources, humongous amounts of data are generated every second. But the question is, what do we do with them? How do we use them to solve problems? A lot of individuals and organizations have a lot of data, but do not know how to process them to gain value, and so they outsource this responsibility to experts in some agencies to convert the data into insights. However, if followed correctly, data can be used to solve problems like mapping crime, disaster management, predictions, and so many more. But inasmuch as having data helps make better and informed decisions, organizations need to be cautious when collecting users' data and sharing it with third parties. Temiloluwa Shobawale, co-founder in Sightly, shares how we can gain more value from our data.
Temi, glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much, Mr. CFE. Glad to see you again. Been a long while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. I mean, this is the start of a new year, and I wanted to speak to you around data and its importance going forward. So let's start with how we fared when it comes to maximizing data possibilities in Nigeria in 2021.
I think data possibilities in Nigeria is still growing. Our rate is at about 25% right now.
Out of 100?
Out of 100, yes. Because a data-driven company or a data-driven country, you will know when people use data because the results you get will be enormous. It will be different from what we actually get. So in terms of using data, we are just going there. We're about 25%, but we are growing. And I think that there are lots of things like what we are doing, lots of trainings, lots of learnings, lots of new organizations, lots of tools are coming out that can help us. But last year, we tried our best. It was better than the other year. So we are growing gradually. Right, but I think we need to move faster because of the kind of things we need to solve. We need more of data, we need more of analytics, we need more of AI to solve our problems. So we have to move faster than we are. But I think gradually we are moving, but not as fast as we should.
Okay, looking to 2022 and beyond, describe to us how important data is to the survival of our country.
In terms of data and analytics and AI, it is very important for us to know that experience, which is what we rely on 80% of the time in Nigeria, is failing, and it's not enough, right? Data and analytics gives you what experience won't give you. That is access to thousands of rows and columns and show you patterns that you will not see, right? Your experience will tell you that you did this last year and this year, and because it worked, doesn't mean it will work this year. But with data, you're able to say, okay, this is what my experience is. You look at data, data tells me, this is not where you should go this year. Do you understand? So in between your experience and data, you're now able to say, okay, how do I navigate this problem? So for example, let's say there's a currency issue that has been happening in the country. We saw it in 2016, you understand, 2017, and we saw it across. Now, if you're going to solve that kind of problem with data, what you did in 2016, what you did in 2017 is from your experience. But again, when you look at the patterns that you have in the system, you'll be able to see a few correlations to say, if I do this kind of activity, I will get this kind of result. It may be different from what your experience tells you. Do you understand? So what I see happen in Nigeria, where there's a drawback in Nigeria and use of data is the experience, what you get from data is always different from what the experience tells you. Experience can tell you go in A, but data will tell you go to B, right? Most of the time, we'll still go with experience in Nigeria, as opposed to following what data is telling us, which is more accurate because the levels of data is very high. First of all, in data analytics, you need to prove that there's a correlation. A correlation is when I move A, B moves. That's a correlation. That's the first level. Then you prove causality. Causality is to say that guaranteed if I move A, do you understand? B will always move.
But is there a threshold on the kind of organization that should leverage data analysis in their decision-making process?
The good thing about data analytics is that there's no restriction, there's no threshold. Every business from small business to micro to enterprise to governments can use data analytics for decision making. As simple as using Excel analytics, because we do lots of training on Excel analytics, and our basis is on Excel analytics, which is the basis for businesses. Everybody can use Excel, right? With that, you input the information you have as your business, rows and columns. You look for correlations, right? It's not that you have to have 5,000 rows or 10,000, all of that. No, you can start with 100, you can start with 200 that you have. With that, you're able to plan better. You're able to see patterns that your eyes cannot see, number one, that your experience has not seen. Do you understand? With that, you're able to now say, okay, based on the information I have, I can now move further. When you do more, it goes to 500. You move to 1,000 rows. Do you understand? Before you now have big data and all of that. No, there's no limit. Every business can use data analytics for decision making.
So for a small business owner watching you now, what would you say are the steps? I know you mentioned Excel, but like, what are the steps? Do they need to start, first of all, by collecting data, before you get to the point where it's being analyzed? What are the steps,
Okay, the first step is data collection, like you said. And that comes in various forms, can come in form of survey. So when you have customers come to your store, ask them questions, right, about your products, your services, your performance, and all of that. That gives you some data and information on how the brand is doing. In fact, ask them about your failures, because when you do your analysis, you're able to see these are the things that I did. I did 1, 2, 3, and I failed. I did 1, 2, 3, and I failed. That means going forward, you skip 1, 2, 3 rows, or you skip the process of 1, 2, 3. You start from 4, 5, 6, because you know doing that, doing 1, 2, 3 give you failure. So what you need to do is make sure that you get data from customers, from survey. Then even from things that you sell. For example, if you're a small business, what are you selling? There's sales records, there's CRM, there are lots of information that you get from there. So you're able to use that information to plan better and to make decisions. You don't have to start from the top.
All right, let's come to the government. What would you recommend the Nigerian government to do when it comes to analyzing and maximizing the huge amount of data scattered all over the Federation?
In all fairness, our government have tried their best. And like I said, experience alone is not enough, right? We have huge data, but we have to make a decision first of all that the first decision to make is the result that we get from the data, are we going to be able to utilize it? Are we going to be able to execute it? Because most of the time, when you ask data for something, it will tell you what is different from your experience. So as for government, I think what we need to do now is look at our scenarios from 2015, 16, and like that. Look at data around what we want to plan, right? And now do correlations. The first thing is, are there things that are correlated with what I'm doing, right? If I want this metric to go down, for example, if I want the price of Naira to be stronger, are there things I've done in the past, right, that should a correlation with stronger Naira at that point? Do you understand? Proving correlation. Then you put it to an experiment to say, okay, I have done this thing. It showed me that there's a correlation. How am I sure that if I do it again, that is the experiment? So you don't just do something and do full scale, you roll it national. No, you do an experiment, maybe in a state or in a local government in a particular state, to test what you want to do. So if you want to launch something new as a government, you test in particular local government. If there's a lift rate, if there's a correlation between growth in that area, then you roll out globally or you roll out in the nation. Or if what you tested and you think your assumptions were right didn't work in that state, then you kill it. When the experiment works like you want it, then you scale. But if it doesn't work, you kill it at that point. And because it's small, at the smaller scale, maybe at local government level, people have not heard about it, it's not known. It won't seem as a failure to you, right? You just kill it and you move on and you do something else. You get what you're looking for that you want to scale. That, I think, is the way we should approach decision making as a government currently. We have the data, we have the people. In fact, we have the data, we have the people. But I think the problem is if the information from data gets to the table of the right people, and do they have the guts to make decisions based on data or and not fall back on the experience that they have?
All right, you didn't disappoint me with your list. On that note, I'll say thank you very much for being on the show, Timmy, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, CFA, and thank you for all you do for the ecosystem. We appreciate you. Thanks a lot, boss.
I have been chatting with Temiloluwa Shobawale, co-founder Insightly. As you've heard from him, data analytics can help businesses of all types make better informed decisions. So this is to encourage every organization out there to find ways to leverage data more than you probably did in the previous years. That's it for our show for today. You can watch these and previous editions of the show on Channels TV, YouTube, or cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.